Alrighty, so we get into our big stories. It's 34 minutes off the top of the hour, and we're getting into our first conversation, and it has to do with the E-Levy. Over a week, so the 1st of May till the 10th, 9 days. What has the implementation been like? How much are we raking in as a country? We've had some interesting perspectives, but for you out there, what has this implementation, the rollout, been like? We'll hit the streets today. Samuel Kojo-Brace will actually be hitting the streets to find out from you what exactly has been happening, what your experience has been like. And this morning, we'd also like to find out what has the implementing body, the GRA, together with the EMIs, what exactly has been happening. And we have Nana Poku, who joins us for this all-important conversation. Let me just get his designation for you right before we get into that. And of course, he is a member E-Levy Technical Committee with the GRA. Nana Poku, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Benjamin, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. If I asked you 9 days on, where do we stand as far as the E-Levy is concerned in terms of the rollout? What has it been like?
Right, so I must say that when the law was passed and assented to by the President, on the 31st of March, immediately the technical team was constituted to make sure that everything rolls out successfully. Indeed, all the charging entities responsible for charging the levy have played a significant role. And I must say, Ghana has a very dedicated and committed financial sector to see that this comes to fruition. So big ups to all the financial stakeholders who participated in the implementation of the levy. So when we went live on the 1st of May,
right.
Typically for any project, there will be some technical glitches. However, we put in measures to make sure that these problems will or have been solved. So that's the progress that we've made so far. We have been able to solve most of the problems, but then some of the problems will continue till 1st of July.
So yes, we know of July and what we can expect when it comes to full integration or better integration of the EMIs. But so far, what are the chief or main bottlenecks, problems that you have encountered as the GRA?
Right. So the predominant issue that we encounter is with regards to transfers, what we call the off-net transfers. So suppose you make a transfer from a network that you are on. In this case, it could be Airtel, Tigo, it could be Vodafone, it could also be MTN. If you are making a transfer from that platform to a different platform, we realize that you were being charged for in cases that you were not supposed to have been charged in the first place. So for example, the law exempts you of 100 Ghana cedis threshold in a day. So if you are making your first transfer, that is 100 cedis, you are not supposed to be charged. But in this case, we realized that some of the charging entities were effecting charges on these transfers. So that was the predominant issue that we encountered when we went live on the 1st of May.
Mm. And you also, but even staying on that, has it ceased? Is it still something that is happening? Because in the first few days, we had a lot of these. I mean, people were sending us screenshots of everything that was happening. People were sending as low as 20 cedis, 10 cedis, and we're still getting, hit by the E-Levy. Has that fundamentally been remedied? Because we know the EMIs, like Mobile Money Limited, they are operating this, and then it feeds into your system. Has that been remedied, or are you still getting pockets of that coming through?
So the good news is that as soon as it was identified, we instructed the charging entities to refund all wrongfully deducted transactions to these customers. So
right.
that has been done as at the
for everybody.
Day, for everybody. So
for the EMIs representing what? Vodafone, MTN, Airtel, Tigo, all of them.
Yeah. So they are obligated to remit wrongful deductions in a window of 72 hours. So,
that's 3 days.
Yeah, that's 3 days. So
right.
From the report that we received, those who were affected 1st, 2nd May, 3rd May have all been remitted. Currently, the problem has been resolved. As at 24 hours ago, we monitored whether or not these charging entities had actually effected the solution. And then it is for our benefit to know that now if you make a transfer from one network to another, you wouldn't be deducted wrongfully. So that problem has been solved.
So that has been solved, and it isn't impossible as of now for anybody to experience that. That's what you're saying.
I mean, for the GRA, it is an instruction that we've given to the charging entities, right? But then there will always be cases and anomalies, whether it's
Right.
0.0000. I mean, there is the possibility, but as of yesterday, from our monitoring, we realized that that problem where you send less than 100 Ghana cedis in a day has been rectified.
It has been rectified. Okay. So now that that has been rectified, and that was the key challenge that you mentioned from day one, in terms of syncing your systems between start day, D-Day, May the 1st, and today, what more has been done? Because we've been given a July timeline, right? And we know between now and then, a lot of work will be done. What would you say have been the different things, the major gains you've made between then and now, in terms of the little bits that ought to be addressed?
So currently, what the Commissioner General issued what we call the modified phase approach. And in this approach, this is the flow.
Yeah, I recall that directive.
Right. So all charging entities are required to implement or charge the levy within their own ecosystem. So this means that the GRA platform isn't plugged across all the charging entities. So within this period, that is between now and the 30th of June, you would have all charging entities implementing the charge of the levy without connecting to or without syncing it with the GRA platform.
We'll also be giving you the opportunity, those watching us, to call in, share your thoughts. Nana Poku is here. He is a member of that technical committee, and you'll be able to ask your pertinent questions. Just season them so that you don't come saying things you shouldn't, but come with your pertinent questions and share them with us. At the appropriate time, we'll activate the phone lines and roll it on your screen so you can pose those questions. Now, what exactly is going to happen between now and July, Nana Poku? What is the roadmap?
Right. So currently, the only anticipated, let's say, anomaly that we should expect is that when you make a transfer between accounts that you own. So for example, if you have a bank account and then you make a transfer from that bank account to another bank account that you own with a different bank, what you would see now is that there will be a charge on that transfer. Even though the law did state that when you make a transfer between accounts that you own, you are not supposed to be charged. Because of the modified phased approach where we have charging entities not being able to see transactions or recipients on another platform, these are some things that we have anticipated that you will be charged when you make a transfer from, say, one network, say from MTN to Vodafone, or from EcoBank to CalBank. So because of the lack of visibility we have across at the moment, you will be charged. But then as soon as you realize that you are charged, you can call in to that charging entity that withheld the that wrongfully deducted, or for lack of a better word, that deducted you for that transaction that you made. You will receive a refund for that. But then for all transactions that are below the threshold of 100 Ghana cedis, that is not something we anticipate seeing again.
All right. We've also heard in recent times that the E-Levy, while it has started late, of course, it didn't fit into last year's timeline like had been planned. I'm talking about the parliamentary processes. And in terms of what was expected, I remember having a discourse with the Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. John Kuma. And of course, they had brought down their estimated figure or projected figure from 6.9 million to between 4 and 5, 6.9 billion to between 4 and 5 billion. Now, when you look at what has been coming through so far, and there was that directive that the EMIs after every 48 hours or so should, give returns. I'm just using that. That may not be the technical term. We've heard that you're not faring too badly. Can you give us insight into what we've been getting so far from the E-Levy kitty and what this means, basically, as far as the GRA is concerned?
I mean, so when we look at the initial projected revenue for the E-Levy in terms of it accruing up to 6.9 billion, it was with the assumption that the charge would be 1.75%. but now we have it being reduced to 1.5%. So it's obvious that the projection for the revenue anticipated from the levy
would also drop.
So that's also part of the reason why the current
so the delay and the reduction in the percentage,
delay and the reduction in
obviously will
it will drop. But then we also did we did instruct the charging entities to remit all revenues collected in terms of the levy within a window of 48 hours. The good news is that it is actually the Commissioner General who can give us a clear insight into the exact amount that we
You sit on the technical committee. There were, 12 to 15 of you guys.
Yes, so
you get to see what is happening on a daily basis.
On a daily basis, you get to see, but then when you look at the flow, even in terms of the law, in Section 5 of the Act 1075, the Commissioner General or the Ghana Revenue Authority has to report quarterly to the Ministry of Finance. So in that case, there is a clear reporting procedure when it comes to accounting for what has been collected. I wish I could give you a figure, but then I would be out of place. And that is the work for the Commissioner General to actually.
Okay, I find that interesting because your colleague, Isaac Amwako, has been interacting with us here and on the Super Morning Show. And he's been talking up quite a storm when it comes to what you've been getting. And I think in recent times he said something concerning, and I'm being, as far as memory serves, he spoke about some good money coming in, even 1 million, Ghana cedis on a day, which is not bad money, is it?
I mean, it could be out of, let's say, happiness. I mean, to implement a project of this magnitude, you would be excited about its successful implementation. So you might just forget to follow the proper procedures.
Are you insinuating he did not, or these were not things?
I mean, it can be something that anyone could just mention as a result of being happy about successfully implementing this project. So I wouldn't say he really erred, but then it was out of excitement that he just couldn't wait to tell the Ghanaian public that, we've been able to do this successfully, and then this is some of the things that are coming in. So,
and I can understand from the project management perspective, if you roll out a project and it's successful, I mean, it may not be that every cog is in its proper wheel, but you see it moving and you see things happening, though it's still work in progress. You're excited about it.
But basically that's
but looking at it, even if, as of now, and I know with time things will either change for the better or for the worse, depending on how things go. And we'll get into that. But if, as of now, let's say on the best day or a good day, you're raking in 1 million, and even that continues till the end of the year, you would get half of 365 million, which would still be quite far away from what the projections are. Because there are also economists, people in the finance space, who have said that even the 4 to 5 billion that was projected is still going to be a very tough match. From where you sit, from what you've seen, I'm not asking you for figures. Do you agree?
So it is possible that we may meet the target. It is also very possible that we might not meet the target, looking at the trend, right? So this is a new tax that has been introduced, and there were quite a lot of panic withdrawals on the part of the public. And because the sensitization or the education hasn't really gone down well,
so you agree that a lot more education probably could have been done before the start of the rollout?
Yes, I do agree that it could have been done way earlier, but then we were challenged with some of these communications. So looking at that scope, it is possible that we may not hit our target from the way that the public initially didn't really understand the scope of application of the levy. But once we get acceptance, just yesterday we had the Mobile Money Association accepting the levy, that they will support the levy. And these are key critical stakeholders in the value chain, right? So if we have the General Secretary of the Mobile Money Association buying into the implementation of the levy, that is about 50% of the work done. So these are some of the indicators. Once we have more buy-in from the public and institutions and other stakeholders, it is very possible that we can achieve the 4.5 billion set target.
But speaking about the mobile money operators, and I saw the story which I read, there it is in the Finder newspaper. While they raised concerns, there always was a buy-in. There always was a buy-in from the mobile money agents because they in fact are going to execute this at the points where you and I go and transact. They are going to, unless we are sending directly from our phones, and you can't always do that because sometimes you don't have enough money, so you have to go to a vendor, and they are going to bring it forth. So, like the final captions the story this morning, Momo agents make U-turn, say they now back E-Levy at a meeting with President Akufo-Addo. But was that really the case? They only raised concerns about the fact that there wasn't proper education, that some of the mobile money agents themselves didn't have a proper understanding of the process. That was the problem. It wasn't a buy-in that was the problem.
So the reason why they didn't buy in is because it was not just the understanding of or the scope of the application of the levy. It's because they felt that it was an attack on their industry. So, for example, the number one reason that they did mention or they did talk about was with regards to the funds that they accrue, or in terms of their commission, when they are moving their commission from their Momo wallet to their bank accounts, they are charged. So if you have capital and then you are moving that capital to your own bank account and then you are charged, I mean, it's going to cripple your company, right? So with regards to educating them that when you make a transfer from an account that you own, whether it's a Momo wallet to another bank account that you own, you wouldn't be charged. That is where they were happy. They were excited about what we told them. And definitely that is not going to stop them from being in business. So with that, they had our full support. And
staying with the mobile money agents or operators, we have conducted our own, studies here. We have interacted with the people, so to speak, over a number of days. And I recall the last interaction with my colleague, Samuel Kojo-Brace, who was on the streets of Accra, somewhere close. And he spoke to some people, and this is an experience that I've also had, because some of them even go as far as telling you that, you want to send cash, but you want to cash out. We can't do that right now. People who initially always had cash, and the problem, I'm sure you've guessed, they are not getting enough cash coming in. People are not depositing enough. People are only coming to take out, and so they run out pretty quickly. It's happened to me twice now, and that was the same reflection when Kojo hit the streets the other day. So can you give me a bit of an appreciation? Have mobile money engagements from where you sit on the technical committee, are they dwindling? Are they stabilizing? What do you see when I'm sure you have maybe a dashboard or something that you look at daily, you see the figures coming in. What's the picture?
So currently we do not have a dashboard because we are not plugged in.
I'm just using that as
but that's fine. I can understand what kind of the level of monitoring that you are talking about. So we actually depend on critical information from the charging entities, in this case
the EMIs.
The EMIs, right?
Right.
Yeah. But with regards to the mobile money operators, their operations dwindled earlier, as I mentioned, because they felt it was an attack on their business. But now that we have their buy-in, we expect a shift in behavior, right? So earlier...
So if I'm reading well into what you're saying, it has dwindled by what amount? You can't tell?
No, I don't have the percentage or the figures for that.
Okay,
but then we had the telcos telling us that there were panic withdrawals, right? And
how long ago was this?
Since the first day of implementation, since we went live 1st of May,
right.
We had cases where there were panic withdrawals. And because people ordinarily thought that if you have money sitting in your wallet, automatically the levy will just be taking away all your money. So there were quite a number of misinformation across board that accounted for the panic withdrawals. But then the good news is that because we are still on the radio, on TV, educating the public for them to understand the scope of the levy, we don't anticipate these panic withdrawals happening in the first place, happening afterwards. And so currently, when you go to a Momo agent to do cash in, that is exempt of the levy. When you go to the Momo agent to do a cash out, that is also exempt of the levy. What has been brought to our attention is with regards to a Momo agent allowing you to send money to someone else. So that is not permissible by the regulation that the BOG has with the EMIs. So if you go to a Momo agent, what you can do is to either do a cash in or a cash out. It is not permissible for you to give cash to the agent and then it is transferred to another person. So that is not permissible.
Could you repeat that?
Right. So when you go to an agent, the only thing mandated for them is to allow what we call the cash in, where you deposit money into your own wallet.
Right.
That is funding your own wallet. And then the cash out is when you go to withdraw that cash from your wallet. And then the agent is the medium or the person who, on behalf of the EMI, does that for you. Now, when you go to an agent and then you want to send money to another person, that is not permissible within the framework. The BOG issued what we call the electronic money guidelines that regulates the operations of the EMI space. And then when you look at section 11 of that guideline, the permissible transactions, you do not have that in scope where an agent can then send money to someone else on your behalf. So that is not permissible.
Okay, so they can send from, as merchants, they can send to another person. But I'm a bit, it's a bit tricky for me because I'm wondering whether you're talking about someone using your wallet to send money on your behalf, or whether you're speaking about the normal transactions we've had where people are, so you go to the Momo agent, oh, may send this ikama Asamesi. So the agent then sends, let's say, 400 CDs to Asamesi, and then you pay the person with the charges. Just clarify for me.
Basically, you get it. It's the normal sending that we are accustomed to that is actually being impacted in this scenario that we are discussing. So the guideline or the Payments Systems and Services Act clearly stipulates what transactions are permissible. When you look at that act, I think it's section 30.
So it's the charges you're saying that
not
are
the
not...
charges, the transaction of the agent sending money to another person other than you. So what the agent is supposed to do is to fund your wallet. Right. Not to send money to another person. So that is something that...
is this a new development?
It has never been a new development.
No, because this is news to I'm sure to all Ghanaians. Like, because we've been doing this all the time. Yeah. And of course, I can see where you're going with this, because if I can only put on my wallet and withdraw, that limits things a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, so what you are supposed to do is that you fund your wallet, and then from your wallet, you can then send to the person.
Aha!
So that if there's an issue with regards to what you've sent, the reversal will come back to you and not to the agent. You may have used an agent to make to send money to someone else, but then you moved out of that city or that town. And if the money is reversed, it will go to the agent.
But that is where I feel we could maintain the system we have, but what it means is the merchant or the agent must then bear the cost of whatever deduction, the 1.75, if it is erroneous, and then it goes back to the agent, because like you're saying, people are fluid. They are moving from Takoradi to Kumasi to Accra to other places. So it should be the Momo agents. I mean, this is what I foresee if I were planning a system like this, because you simply can't take away that bit about, look, like I said, it's not always that I'll have money on my own wallet. It could be that in some instances, people even know the agent. They would go to the agent, oh, please send this for me, maybe by close of day, I'll bring you. If you do this, it takes away all of that. And that will be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it is something that we are all accustomed to, but it's not permissible. We always have to work within the framework of the law. It is not something that is permissible. It is a gray area that is very convenient. But
how gray is this area if it is not permissible in the first place? So if it weren't permissible, like you're saying, per Bank of Ghana electronic transactions, how come we've done this for how many years?
That is a discussion that has to be had another day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I have to. Are you serious about this?
Yes, you can look it up. You can look it up.
So from the start, these telcos, these agents operating with the telcos should never have allowed transactions, let's say, from the agent, you want to send money to your mother, let's assume. I am the agent. I shouldn't be taking your money and sending from my merchant wallet or whatever to your mom. It should rather be simply that you come, you put that money on your wallet, which I will facilitate, and then you send the money directly to your mom. Yeah. That's what should have been happening.
That's what is supposed to be the case. That's the case.
I get it. Okay, so that changes a lot. Wait, so is this going to be the next move of the GRA? Because, of course, when it becomes personalized, and I know some people have also found different ways around this entire system that we'll not get into. But it means then that you're trying to, so to speak, corner people so that they can't avoid using Momo directly and also being hit by the E-Levy.
As I did mention, for cash in, they are exempt. They are excluded from the scope of the levy. For cash out too, they are exempt. So regardless...
Yes, but then if this is implemented to the letter, what it means is I must pick up my phone, I must load on my wallet, and I must send to you, let's say, 300 Ghana cedis that maybe I could have used other means to send. Now I must send directly from my phone. There'll be a trail.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes. It is very, very important for us to understand the process. Now, the implication of sending money through an agent has its own consequences, right?
Which are what?
So, for example, if it's a wrong transaction, it goes back, the reversal goes back to the agent. And it is only the agent who can make a call because that transaction happened on their phone not your phone.
Right.
So it's a huge problem if that transaction goes wrong and then you have to get your money back. There's no way you can get that money back when you go through an agent for this particular scenario.
Ghana, so get that clearly. Per what Nana Poku is saying, per the law, Bank of Ghana e-transactions, we should never even have been sending money through Momo agents to Asemesi. And now, I don't know, so is this going to be implemented by the GRA? Do you have any timelines?
No,
Are you looking
so
at
it is not
this?
in the scope of the GRA to be implemented. This is something that we came across in our discussions with the charging entities. Yeah.
Right. But are there any plans in your interactions with the Bank of Ghana and others to implement this? Because right now, it is what pertains. I mean, that is... If I want to put it that way, is the most major use of mobile money. Sending from the vendors. That is so if you take that away, I am also forecasting what that could mean for transactions themselves.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier on, it is not in the mandate, it's not the mandate of the GRA to enforce some of these mishaps, for lack of a better word. It is up to the regulatory body to actually find a way to stop these transactions from happening in the first place. So that is a discussion that is being had. But then with regards to the levy, as far as the GRA is concerned, if you go to an agent, what you can do is cash in and cash out. And for these transactions, they are exempt of the levy.
So you're saying that it is possible that at some point, whether this year or next year or whatever, we could have the Bank of Ghana, the central bank step in and say, the only transactions you can do on mobile money when it comes to an agent is to go for him to load cash on your wallet or for you to take cash from your wallet, right?
I mean,
but not send. And so all sending will have to be from your own phone.
Right, so it is possible. I mean, I cannot really anticipate or speak on the behalf of the...
Yeah, but I'm saying with the discussions you've had, that is a possibility.
It is a possibility, but we cannot really ascertain whether that will be done or not. So for now, what the Act stipulates is transactions that are permissible and transactions that are not permissible. It didn't say they were illegal. They did state that it wasn't permissible, or these are the transactions that are permissible. So if you are doing something that is not permissible, then, the lawyers can also help us understand what that implies and whether or not that transaction can still go on.
All right. I see a lot of your messages on our Facebook live stream. I'll be getting to every last one of them because all of your questions matter to us. We'll also activate the phone lines at a point, but not yet. Before I get into your questions, Joe, just about two more from my end before I get into those. There was this talk about the fact that the Deputy Finance Minister supposedly had said that if you don't accept payment via Momo, you would be arrested. That has been debunked. It has been said that he didn't actually say that. But there were some, even newspapers that carried same and portals. But supposedly that was not what was said. But I want to clarify with you here. We have seen photos, for example, in some fuel stations and others where people have gone and they've written boldly, Momo payment not accepted today, and stuff like that. I don't want to mention which entity, and it's not in my purview to do that work. It's yours. But is it any crime? Is it wrong if you go somewhere and the person says, I will not accept a Momo payment, of course, because of E-Levy this and E-Levy that and this penalty or that penalty? Is there anything wrong with it?
I think that
and I'm asking for our audience.
Yeah, I mean, these questions are in scope for the regulatory body. In this case, that would be the Bank of Ghana. So they decide whether or not a legal instrument used to make payment, in this case, it being a mobile money. If someone decides not to accept mobile money as a means of payment, I think they would be in the best capacity to actually come out with the rules of engagement.
Right, so from where you said,
I wouldn't be able to really tell about that.
Right. No, I get what you mean, but I was hoping that maybe you would have some inkling concerning that. So going back to the bit about education before I go to the questions that are popping up, so many of them for you. So let's quickly do this. You've spoken about education not being enough, even before the rollout, and of course now, some things are happening. But from the end of the GRA, are you doing anything specific in terms of educating the public?
Yeah, so this is something that we've been doing since we started. We went live, going to all the TV stations across the country, being interviewed in all the major radio stations, going down to the rural areas. So even though education before the implementation has been slow, it is something that we've really accelerated to make sure that the public is really sensitized on the scope of the levy. So that is something that is currently ongoing. We should be seeing billboards and other materials in the coming days.
All right. I also want you to do this lest I forget. So for those watching, just run us through once more. What is affected by the E-Levy? Because I've heard so many funny things. I've had people call me, oh, Papa Broadcaster, come. Brief us. When I do this, when I do that, am I affected? Oh, I'm cashing out my money. I say, no, you're not affected. People have so many misconceptions out there. Seize the next minute and a half, if possible. Educate us on what is affected, what is not affected. People are complaining that I'm sending money from my account to my own, mobile money and this and that. And will I face a deduction? Just break it down for us briefly as I bring in my colleague Bernice Abubedu-Lanza, who will also walk us through those questions.
Right. So there are about 5 areas that the law covers in terms of transfers that are applicable. When you make a transfer from your EMI to another EMI, that is in scope. So, for example, when you make a transfer, I'll break it down.
So break down what EMI is.
So when you make a transfer from, say, Vodafone cash to Airtel Tigo, that is in scope of the levy, and you will be charged, even though we will discuss the exclusions later. Now, when you make a transfer between within the same EMI, in this case, from your account in Vodafone cash to another user who also is on the Vodafone network, you will be levied for that transaction.
Okay.
Then from bank accounts to mobile money wallets. If I send money from my bank accounts to you on, say, Airtel Tigo, I will be levied for that transfer. And then when you also send money from your mobile money wallet to me using the bank that I have a bank account, you would also be levied for that transfer. Then the final one is bank-to-bank transfers, which originates from an individual on what we call an instant pay digital platform or application. So for example, I have an EcoBank app right? And then I'm sending money to Benjamin, who is with CalBank, or who is also with EcoBank. What this means is that so far as I do not exceed 20,000 in a day,
20,000
Ghana cedis in a day,
right,
I won't be levied. So I can send you 10,000 using my mobile, my bank app, same day in the morning, I won't be levied.
So wait, just to clear, you can send me 19,999 cedis and 99 pesos from your bank to my mobile money account, no e-levy?
No, from bank to another bank.
Okay, so you can send me that sum from your bank, let's say CalBank, okay, we shouldn't, but your bank to my bank.
Yes.
And nothing.
And there won't be any levy applicable.
But once you add that extra peswa, then it will hit on the
no,
total
you'll
amount.
still be within the 20,000. So you won't be levied. It is when you
when you cross 20,000.
When you cross 20,000.
So does it apply? You know how for the Momo transactions, it's when you send above 100 cedis, and then anything above the 100 cedis, the initial 100 is not affected. So if I were to send 25,000 or 21,000, does it mean it's only the 1,000 that will be affected by the e-levy?
So you even understand it way better than I do, if I should put it that way. So yes, you will be levied on the 1,000 cedis in excess of that 20,000 transaction that you have done.
So if you're sending from your bank, you're sending within the same bank. Let's say you have two accounts, or you're sending from one account to the next. There's no impact?
If you are sending within the same bank.
Within the same bank.
We have to establish who the recipient is. So if I have a current account.
So the recipient is another person?
Yeah, then you will be levied when you send and it exceeds the 20,000 threshold.
But if it is my own account, then nothing will apply.
Exactly. So
even after 20K?
Yes, if it's your own account, the law was clear with that. Transfers between accounts that you own should not be levied. So if you transfer 1 million from your current account to your savings account, you won't be levied for that transfer.
I'm seeing a message here just to tie it in. Michael Dannon says deductions are being made on transfers from one account to another, all belonging to the same person. That is from one telco to another telco account. Okay, so that is more on the Momo front rather than the bank accounts. Okay, so we'll be bringing in Bernice shortly as she'll be walking us through your comments on social media. But Michael Danant also comes back to say, which charging entity are you supposed to call when transfers between accounts belong to the same person? Which charging entity are you supposed to call? I don't get it.
Yeah,
maybe the EMI, the person is talking about the...
So typically when you make a transfer from one charging, so let's say one EMI, in this case Airtel Tigo, to MTN, and you own the account at MTN, you should call Airtel because that's where you initiated the transaction and that's where the charge happened. So you would call Airtel and then present the transaction ID with the identity, your identification details, and then you will be reimbursed or refunded that transfer.
Okay. Obed Clegg says, yes, there are irregular deductions. I sent 101 CDs to someone on Monday. The transaction was confirmed that the deduction was effected. The person has not received the money till now.
Yeah, so as
I thought you said these irregularities should have been handled.
I mentioned in the past 24 hours, all these irregularities has been rectified. So now, going back to all those who started their transfers from first to 2 days ago, I think half of them have received their refunds, and then the half is yet to receive their refund. But as of the past 24 hours, you shouldn't be seeing cases like this.
So my final bit to you, Bernice Abubaidu Lansa is standing by. I may forget this. So what you have generated so far, what has come in so far as e-levy, where has it gone to? Has government taken custody of that? Is it being used in any way for some of the things that we said? Do you get what I mean? Has government, maybe the finance ministry, taken those sums from the GRA and is it being disbursed to be used for development?
So like all other levies, the e-levy is not an exception. Like all other levies and taxes that the GRA is mandated to collect, what happens is that the GRA provides the platform for revenue mobilization, and then it all ends up in the consolidated bank fund. And that's it. We do not have eyes into what happens after that.
Okay, some clarity there. Bernice Abubeidu Lanta is here with us. Hello, Bernice.
Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning to you, Nana Puku, as well, and to all of you watching us. It's now time to take your comments, and we posted on Facebook this particular interaction that Benjamin has been having. And Agbe Nafa says, I wonder why they're arresting fraudsters, because what they're doing in the name of E-Levy is more than fraud. That's his opinion. George says, wonderful at last, government is making money. All is now okay. I'm wondering whether this is sarcasm or this is you're genuinely telling us what you feel. And Kwesi Ampa says, a very good way to develop our country on our own. Tax is good. I love E-Levy. And there's a reply to that. Teta Francis says, so you agree that a monthly salary that has already been taxed with income tax should be taxed again when transferring same to any relatives? You agree that with current economic situation with no salary increment coupled with higher inflation, this period is the right time to implement the E-Levy? Okay, so Benjamin, there's that angle to this whole conversation where some say, we don't have a problem if you want to charge us E-Levy to develop the country, but is this the right time to do that? And Mauto says, I deactivated my account, and anyone that asks me Momo suffers to his own fate, give me your account number, I will walk to the bank. And Edward says,
did that person just say he would walk to the bank?
Yes. That's how much he detests the E-Levy. Edward says, double taxation on this small salary. I pay tax on my income, and when I'm transferring it from the bank to my mobile wallet, I'm being charged the E-Levy. And he exclaims, what? And Asha says, Momo Pay for payments and cash out withdrawals is the way forward. And you just had the conversation about whether it is permitted for people to actually do all the cash outs and as for those ones, I've
not brought them in. But
the bit
legitimately
when he said that you can't, the vendor cannot take the cash and send it. You have to, people are just finding ways to beat the system.
Right.
Yeah, that's what's happening here. Amalglo says, okay. He's actually tired of talking about E-Levy. So, and okay, you say we are not serious. E-Levy Technical Committee. I'm wondering why you think this is not a serious conversation to have. And this one, okay, this is not related. This one says mobile money operators are constantly trying to rob me, and as usual, the government who put us all in this situation will not do anything about it. Okay. Thomas says, I'm yet to make a first transfer, so I don't really have anything to talk about. And since the E-Levy kick-started, a lot of you have been telling us how you've been avoiding using the mobile money platforms. And Obia Depa says, my own bank account to my Mumu to you charged on salary that has already been taxed in my account. God is watching you. And Sika says, we should go and ask Akufo-Addo. Rufai is part of those who've not yet been affected by the E-Levy. And Faith says, no experience because I'm not using Momo anymore. I'll give the money to a beggar than paying nonsense tax. And Benjamin, remember, we said we would try and study the numbers after about a month of the E-Levy's implementation. We'd like to know what the numbers are with regards to people who are still using the mobile money platforms. It will be interesting to note. But from the messages that you've been sending us, quite a number of you have stopped using the platform. Kwabena Owusu says, it has helped me. Now I get excuses for not sending people. Really? So the people accept the excuse of E-Levy for not paying them. Interesting. Kojo Justice says, no one cares. Your religious leaders, your chiefs, your media houses, your celebrities, your society, who else? Name them, they've all been bought. Okay, that's his opinion. I'm minding their business and selfishness.
We're definitely not. And this is interesting because we've been talking about these issues. Anything that matters to the ordinary Ghanaian, we talk about like we're doing now. And of course, there's the end of development. You can't develop without taxes. But there's also the other end, very valid, about the economic state. And people are complaining about that and being slapped to the E-Levy. We're looking at both sides.
Definitely, and we'll also be taking a couple of calls shortly.
Right.
You can call us, the numbers will be on your screen, and share your thoughts with us. We've had a lot from Nana Poku. We had a lot of eyes on social media as well, Benjamin, while you were having that discussion. And so clearly it tells you that people still don't have a clear understanding.
Right.
There are a lot of questions being asked. The bit on the 20,000, I discovered that sometime last week when I was trying to do a transaction, and the bank said, initially, it wasn't up to that tune though, but the bank kept, rejecting the transaction, and so I called to ask why, and I was wondering if the E-Levy, I was going to hit, and then just on the E-Levy won't affect the amount you're sending. It has to be 20,000. Right. It has to be beyond 20,000 per day, right? So yeah, there are a lot of questions being asked, and we are glad to have Nana Poku here to answer those questions. Benjamin, do you have any?
There is a merchant who is sending in some questions, and by the way, the number to call 0302 211 691 extension 2. It will be rolling on your screen. 0302 211 691 extension 2. But Ohenewa Adazi says, Nana Poku is saying banks are not charging when you are transferring from your Momo to your bank account. I'm an agent, and up to now, we can't push to the bank because they are charging E-Levy of 455.23 Ghana cedis for 30,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah, so these are the merchants as part of the mobile money agencies, right? And this was some of the issues that impacted their business. Now, what we are saying is that if you make a transfer from a mobile money wallet, in this case, a merchant's wallet that you own, to a bank account that you also own, you shouldn't be levied for that transaction. But because we are
that is clearly what is happening here.
Right.
It's a merchant trying to send to her account.
Right. So we first have to establish whether the person has linked the account. So we are going with a modified phased approach. MTN doesn't have visibility over who the recipient is at the bank. So for sending money from MTN to the bank, you will be levied. However, that money is recoverable. You can call MTN and then recover that levy that has been.
Okay, so we have a caller, in fact 2 callers, but let me just put this in quickly. So you say the accounts are not linked. What will it take for those accounts to be linked?
So typically, when you go to the bank, you can ask them to link your mobile money wallet to your bank account, so that you can just move funds from your bank accounts to your mobile money wallet, and then vice versa.
So it has nothing to do, sorry to cut it has nothing to do with which particular ID card you use to register your account, because we've heard that quite a number of times on social media. Somebody says, oh well, I've heard that if I use my Ghana card for my bank account and I use my Ghana card for my Momo, then I should be seen as the same person on the platform. But it's not so. You deliberately have to link the account.
So it's not automatic. Okay. I'm sure it's not automatic. You must do it manually.
Okay, so let me explain how it works. So we have the modified phased approach. Then we have the full approach that kickstarts in 1st July. Okay. So these have different requirements. In the modified phased approach, it is the responsibility of the charging entities to do the charging. But because they do not have visibility over who the recipient is, so for example, I have a mobile money wallet. I'm transferring money to my, say, EcoBank bank account. But MTN doesn't know that I'm the same person who is the recipient at EcoBank. So for that reason, you will be charged. However, when we go 1st July, it will be the platform of the GRA that will be overseeing all these transactions. Okay. So the most important thing is that I have a Ghana card here, my mobile money wallet, 1st July. I have another Ghana card. So when I make a transfer, the systems will communicate to the GRA's platform and establish my identity. And then that transaction will be exempt.
Bernice, right before you come in with all the callers, I have to do this because the same merchant is saying, and I want to know whether this is legal. If a merchant can't send money or a merchant is not permitted to send money, then the telcos should know that deposits will now come with charges, just like sending to your mother. This is what the person is saying. Is that legal?
Yeah, so
for them to do that?
Yeah, so that is, they have what we call the agency agreement with the telco. So, and in that agency agreement, if that is established, then that will be the case. If it's not established, then
it will be illegal.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over the phone lines.
We'll come back to you shortly, Nana Poku, but let's hear from Emmanuel, who is joining us from Accra. Hello, Emmanuel. Thanks for joining the program. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Good morning, Bennett.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
I want to ask a direct question from I want to the man in the studio.
Let's hear you. Let's hear you, Emmanuel.
Okay. When you are transferring from, let's say, a Vodafone merchant line to a bank account using the Gift platform, you are charged. And so I don't get that point whereby when you're sending from your Vodafone merchant listing to your own bank account and then the
are these accounts linked?
Yeah.
Have you linked it to your account? Have you linked your Momo?
No. We use the Gift platform. And
Okay.
I think he understands what I'm saying.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And also, I think you should have
yeah.
had a merchant in your studio, because some of the questions going on over there, I think there are more things that we need to clarify. The man in there is only saying his part, but the merchant can tell you their real story. So I think you should have had a merchant in the studio.
That's why we've made it a very interactive program. But thank you for your thoughts, Emmanuel. Let's hear from Thomas in Kumasi. Then Nana Poku will respond to Emmanuel's concerns. Hello, Thomas. Thanks for joining the program. Let's hear you. Hello, Thomas. All right, we seem to have lost Thomas. So you want to respond to that man?
Yes.
He says on the GIPS platform.
So it is very important. I think so. This should be part of the framework for the sensitization.
Okay.
With regards to transfers that happen from your wallet to a bank account, we have what we call the bilateral relationship, where you walk to your bank and then you ask them to link your mobile money wallet to your bank account. So for any transfers that happen within the bank and that mobile money wallet account will be exempt, right? In the modified phased approach. That is different from. So I have
which
a
is
voters,
what we're in now.
Yes.
Which is what we're in now.
So I have a voter's ID card now. I have a passport with my banker, right? Then I go to my bank and then I link my mobile money account to my bank account. Whenever I make a transfer from my bank to my mobile money and vice versa, I won't be levied because there is a bilateral relationship.
Okay.
Right.
We have what we call the third-party transactions, where it has to go through what he mentioned, the GIP system, right? I do not need to link my bank account to my mobile money wallet, but I can still transfer from my mobile money to the bank using the GIP platform. But it is not recognizing that I am the same person. And that is what we are discussing now.
So, there's more work to be done there. But clarify for me. So is that why we are trying to link the Ghana card so that from, is it June or July, everybody would have to use the Ghana card for bank transactions?
Right.
I guess that will make everything seamless,
Exactly.
right?
So what we are saying is that for now, if you make a transfer, you haven't linked your account, and you make a transfer from your mobile money account to your bank account, and you are deducted, which will be the case, you can call in and get the refund.
Okay.
So it is something that you have to get back. That provision has been made available by the GRA that anytime you make a transfer, whether you've linked or not, and then you are deducted, please call in and you will get your money back. When we go the full approach, 1st July, you don't need to experience this because it is the Ghana card that will be used to check as whether your account here is with the Ghana card, your bank account is with the Ghana card. As soon as the two are the same, you won't be levied.
All right, hold on. Let's take some more calls.
Exactly. Mark is joining us from Nkoko. Hello, Mark. Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what I want to add is that the E-Levy is a good thing. It's a good thing. It will help the government get revenue. But one thing I want to add is that they can do something like end-of-year benefit, maybe 1% or 5% to individual wallets at the end of the year. It will encourage more people to use the platform just to get end-of-year benefit, which is bigger. So for me, if I'm using E-Levy, I know at the end of the year, government will give me back 1% or 5% back to my wallet, what I contributed. So they should consider something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, it will encourage people to use the platform more.
Thanks for your suggestion, Mark. Let's hear Justice from Praso. good morning to you.
Good morning.
Can you please speak up? We are struggling to hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Please, let's hear you.
Yeah, I am really surprised that the man is saying that transfers from agents are not permitted. Started with the agents. At that time, we were having something we call tokens. So all transfers and cash out were done through tokens. You go there and so I don't know why it's not saying agent transfer are not.
If I may step in here, I think
the agent transfer has gone up so much that they think that everybody is now getting away from sending the money through their own personal mobile money, and then they are now using the agent, which means that they are now escaping the E-Levy. Because previously, I don't know whether they have changed the law, because if they have not changed the law, and when mobile money was started, individuals were not registered. Every transfer was through the agent, through the system of tokens. So I don't know, have they changed the law or it was there? Because when mobile money started, it started with the agent before individuals started registering their mobile money, their account as mobile money. So I don't know whether it was all permitted, but that is what they started with it.
Okay.
All right, Justice, thank you. Thank you for your question.
I think we'd have Nana Poku reiterate what you said. And it's interesting because he is saying it started with them, and that was how it started with the tokens and all of that. So is this a change in the law? Do you get it?
Yes, I do get what he's asserting. Now, we have to look at when the Payment Systems and Services Act was in play. That was 2019. Then we have the electronic money guidelines issued by the BOG that was also in somewhere 2015. So I do not know how long that operation has been going on, but then the GRA works based on laws. And this is something that we have uncovered. So as to how it's going to be implemented, that is not within the scope of the GRA. It is something that has been brought to our attention as a result of implementing the levy. But then as to whether it will be the case will be dependent on the regulatory body.
Okay, so we're getting more questions and
students
comments.
also coming
in.
On
our Facebook page. But let me take our callers quickly, and then we can come to Facebook. Sandra is joining us from Kaswa. Hello, good to have you, Sandra.
Yes, I'm fine. So
I'm doing well by God's grace. Please, let's hear you.
Okay, my problem is Mr. Opoku is saying that when you're a merchant and you're transferring from your merchant to your bank account, they are not deducting, even with less than 20,000, of which is not true. I've personally linked my merchant to my GCB bank account. And so when you are transferring from your merchant to the bank of 30,000, they are charging you E-Levy of 456.
Okay, so Sandra, you are the one who sent us the comment on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And secondly, majority of Ghanaians are illiterate, including my mother. So if you are telling me that the person shouldn't transfer from a merchant to another person, that the person should load to a personal account and then send. Even majority of them, when they come, they will be like, yeah, cash out, mommy.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't even know how to do the cash out than to think of sending money from their account to the other person. And now, thirdly, the majority of young vendors, we are literate too. Me and my husband, you invest, but employment here, a new one. So if you are lucky and when your opportunity may be when you're baby after child, and you are telling me the merchants, that just like you now, when your opportunity to be benefit, mommy send this car, I want my merchant to more, then I should load to the person, and loading, you don't take any money for that. And I should load that at the end of the month, at the end of the day, how much am I merchant in the
all right.
Sandra, I see you are very passionate about this. Let me just chip in that what he's saying is that is the law, but it's not being applied. That is not what is applying or applicable now.
Okay, Sandra, and on your first point, we've discussed that, but just for clarity, because I'm not sure you got it, your Momo account and your bank account may be linked, but we are told that some of these errors may occur. So you need to call your service provider, Nana Puku, right?
Yeah.
Is it the bank or the mobile network?
Okay, so it is also very important that we clarify the miscommunication that she put across. When you make a transfer from your mobile money account to your bank account, the daily threshold is 100 cedis. Okay.
When
you
from your mobile money account to your
the
bank account,
yes,
the threshold is 100 cedis.
That is if you are making a transfer to another person. When you make a transfer from your account to your bank account, that is exempt. Okay. But in the event that you are charged for that transfer, we are saying you can call where you initiated a transaction from. In this case, that will be MTN or Vodafone, and then you can get your money back. So you are not supposed to be taxed when you make a transfer between accounts that you own. However, in the event that you are charged for want of a better word, technical glitch or anything like that, then you can call in the charging entity where you initiated the transaction from, and then you will get your money back.
Just to clarify, on which one does the 20,000 apply again?
Bank to bank.
So that is strictly bank to bank.
That's right.
Your own account.
Yes.
Bank to bank.
Even to
another account.
When you are transferring from your account to someone else who also owns a bank account, the threshold is 20,000.
20,000. Anything above, then you'll be
exactly. Okay. So it is very important that she understands.
All right, Sandra, I hope that this settles your confusion. Osman is calling us from Asankragwa. Hello, Osman.
Hello.
Hello. Please speak up a bit and share your thoughts or questions with us. Good morning.
I have a take on this mobile money issue.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, this mobile money, the E-Levy was prior to its implementation. You know, we thought it was something that was going to be very heavy, but its implementation, we have realized that it's not as we thought. But the concern I have is that with regards to the transfer from merchant to subscriber, as a matter of fact, the country and then the telcos to understand that the whole mobile money transactions and how it has gone all over the country is just because of the merchants and the agents. They have orchestrated everything. And so any move or any attempt to compromise their work, it means that we are going to collapse the mobile money business. As a matter of fact, this whole country, the mobile money transaction has employed a lot of people, not just one, a lot of people. So they should understand the laws are made for people. And so when the laws are too much or too strong for the people to obey, then they should consider the law. As a matter of fact, this mobile money business has employed a lot of us.
Okay.
And so they should try as much as possible.
Osman, are you an agent?
Yes, please.
Okay, so just hold on for me because I wish Sandra was on to also respond to this. Yesterday, the Mobile Money Agents Association met the president at the Jubilee House, and the president, Mr. Otunfuo, mentioned their support for the E-Levy. Are you a part of that association?
Part of the association.
Okay, and you also support the E-Levy?
Yes, I support the E-Levy. It's for national development. I support it.
Okay. But your issue has to do with the laws, as we are discussing now. You wish that they will be reviewed.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
thank you for calling us. Let's hear Andy from Ashale Botre. Hello, Andy. Thank you for holding on. Let's hear you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to make a suggestion that somebody called making claim that Ghanaians are illiterate and then, they have to come out. No, Ghanaians are not illiterate. What I'm suggesting is that why don't the government of Ghana, let me say, publish a book, a whole book on E-Levy, so that it will be made known to the general public. Then we can also read and then make analysis of the E-Levy, rather than, day in and day out, coming out with different views of information.
Okay.
That is my suggestion.
All right.
And secondly, this E-Levy concept and stuff, in Ghana here, only few people have access to, these governmental jobs and stuff. A lot of people are unemployed. So why is it that when the government is taking certain decisions or, embarking on certain decisions, they don't consider the average Ghanaian? and that they try to raise a particular platform where each and everyone is expected to toe the line. That is my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So let's do this one, Nana Poku, quickly. On Facebook, there's someone who has a question about ATM transactions and whether those are also affected by the E-Levy. There are a couple of ATMs that allow deposits.
Right.
And so someone is also trying to help with the education. She says, well, what she knows is that ATM withdrawals aren't affected by the E-Levy, but she's not sure about deposits. So just clarify that for us.
Right. So I think we can now discuss the exclusions. We've talked about the areas that are covered within the scope of the levy. We can now look at the areas that are excluded, not covered by the levy. So with ATM withdrawals, right? Cash in at the bank, cash deposit at the bank, check deposit at the bank, cash withdrawals at the bank, cash out at the Momo vendor, all these are exempt of the levy. We've already talked about the 100 cedis daily limit, and then we've also talked about transfers between accounts that you own. So anytime you make a transfer from, say, one bank to Momo wallet or to another bank, so far as you own that account, you are not to be charged the levy. In the event that you are charged, you can then call in and then get the money back.
So in the case where, and this was just mentioned at a point, so someone is using his or her bank's app, sending money to their Momo or vice versa, that should not.
Yeah,
that
shouldn't be affected, right? Then we have a transfer for the payment of taxes, fees, and charges via the Ghana.gov platform. So payment of airtime, buying airtime, data, it's not applicable. When you are making a purchase, say you go to ShopRite, okay, and then you are going to purchase a product. Because it is a payment to a merchant, ShopRite being the merchant here, if that merchant is registered with the GRA for income tax or VAT, that payment to the merchant is exempt of the levy. So we also have transfers between principal, master agents, and agents. This is good news for the mobile money operators, right? So if there's any movement of funds from the EMI, in this case, Vodafone Cash, between its Vodafone's master agents who have sub-agents beneath them, the movement of funds between the EMI, the master agents, and the agents, and back to the top are exempt.
My final bit to you before we go to other things. You know that with some of the EMIs, there's a cap. So they charge you up to maybe X amount, and then the sum is capped off. You don't have to pay extra. For the E-Levy, it goes as far as possible, right? So if it were possible to send 1 million cedis in your transaction, it means 999,900 cedis will be impacted, apart from the first 100 cedis, right?
Yeah, that is when it's going from the mobile money account. But if it's going from a bank to bank, then it means...
So it matters not, 10 billion, every bit there, apart from the
excess,
first 100.
The excess, excluding the threshold, will be
impacted.
Yeah, impacted, yeah.
Okay, so we've got Emmanuel from Takwa. Thank you so much for holding on. Let's hear what you have to say. Oh, too bad we lost Emmanuel there. We have another caller on the line, Moses from Kumasi. Hello, Moses. Do we have Moses on? Well, too bad we lost Moses and Emmanuel. So there's a lot of interactivity on our Facebook page. Quite a number of people watching us and asking their questions. But I didn't get the bit on the ATMs that allow deposits.
Yeah, so ordinarily, all deposits, cash deposits are exempt. So even if you use the ATM to make a cash deposit, that is exempt. If you go to the banking hall, you make a cash deposit, check deposit, that is also exempt.
Okay, so we've got Mutala from Takrade. Hello, thank you for joining the program. Let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much. My question is that, why is it that the education is not going to be in our local dialect? Meaning that the E-Levy is normally being deducted from this our local people who did it. So you just ask somebody and he doesn't know this is what is E-Levy. So I will be happy if you use it in our local dialect so that they will also understand. And two, I want to know that if I withdraw money from my account, will the E-Levy be charged or?
If you withdraw money from your account, which account are you talking about?
My Momo account.
Okay, as in a cash out.
Exactly, when I cash out.
Okay. Thank you. Let's hear Abu from Sekendi. Interesting, we had someone from Takrade now, Sekendi. Abu, thank you for joining us. Tell us what you have to say.
How are you?
Hello, Abu, can you hear me?
Good morning, my sister. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are too.
Well, no, we are just managing. You see, for me personally, I don't support this E-Levy tax system. Because President Nanado promised Ghana, Nanado promised we Ghanaians that he is not going to be taxing Ghanaians again. He is going to pay from tax from the production. What happened today, Nanado is going to tax our mobile. Now, for example, if I have money in my MTN, I want to transfer it to my Vodafone account. Am I going to pay E-Levy too? That's the question. If I have my money in my MTN account
from different mobile networks.
Vodafone,
Okay.
Yeah, to the mobile Vodafone. This is because I've done yesterday. I just transferred from MTN to my model. I think that they take almost about 20.
All right, Abu, we'll get answers to that question, and Nana Poku is still here with us to do that. But there's someone commenting on Facebook asking why Vodafone cash transaction is not affected by the E-Levy. We know it is affected by the E-Levy. What you're not charged is a service charge.
Exactly.
Which is what the company takes for using its platform. So, and it has been so since
it has always been so.
started.
I also found it curious when I saw that. But tied to that, I see someone else also talking about Vodafone. Jidula Jijeme Kenoklu. I transferred money from my bank account with my Ghana card and Vodafone with Ghana card, but I was charged. I don't understand. I don't really get this one, but it appears some people are finding some problems with, because this appears to be a student.
Yeah, so I think I can really understand where they are coming from. Because we haven't really gone down to explain what the modified phased approach is, you would have, it is anticipated that you would have some of these feedback from the general public. And then to also talk about what the gentleman mentioned with regards to the
accounts from different mobile networks.
Yes, just before we come to that, with regards to the communication in different dialects. So that is something that we are working hard on. So in the coming days, we should be expecting communication in Ga, in Chi, Dagbani.
You say communication, adverts or
yes, what? So adverts and then recorded message.
Okay, so you're going to use the vans.
Yes. So it is very important that we just want the general public to know that even though we've started with the English aspect of it, it is very critical that this sinks down to everybody. So that is something that the GRE takes very seriously.
It's belated, but I mean, better late than never.
Better late than never, but you know, we are your biggest platform, so you have to come here as well. And bring some of the...
And just to recap the transfer from the Momo wallet to the Vodafone, we mentioned that in the modified phased approach, you will be charged because MTN doesn't have visibility over who the recipients are in Vodafone. Okay. However, as soon as you are charged, you can call MTN and then do it. Refund.
Yeah, and you know, we keep saying call them. Are these telcos going to ask for some evidence? Is there something you need to give to prove that indeed I am the same person who owns these accounts? Or once I call, they'll just say, okay, voila, money sent back.
Okay, so there is a process with regards to calling in, right?
Okay.
Just like you send money to someone else and you realize it's a mistake and you have to call in. You have to provide some form of transaction ID.
Okay.
So you have to provide the transaction ID that was given to you via SMS, as well as your identification, whether it's the Ghana card or passport or any.
Okay, and all those details, because I'm asking because, you know, if someone was deducted 3 or 4 CDs and you have to go through such a cumbersome process just to get that back, right. I wonder if many people will opt for it. But we have our 2 last callers, Xavier from Sugakope. Thank you for joining us, Xavier.
Thank you very much, Bernice. Please, my question is, I'm a teacher and I take loan from, let's say, Teachers Fund. Teachers Fund will give me an EcoBank check to go and pay in. That one, you pay it and then it will take 3 days before the check will be cleared for you to take your money. Would the E-Levy be charged on such a transaction? That's the first one. Secondly, we are Ghanaians, and me like this, I want Ghana to develop. As Mr. Kojo Poku, I think I got the name right.
Nana Poku.
The money we are paying will be put into good use, because we have seen it. We only see the politicians enriching themselves, whilst we the ordinary Ghanaians, lavish in poverty. So they should just ensure that the money is being put into good use, and then it will benefit all of us. Thank you.
Thank you to Emmanuel. You are our last caller joining us from Dansoman.
Yes,
Let's hear you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I think Nana Poku, the gentleman there, he did mention that when you make any wrongful deduction, you should report to the necessary platform.
Yeah, the telcos.
To know which platform, and then the number we can call in. Because what I know is that when you make a wrongful transaction, let's say MTN, you call MTN, you make a report, you ask number, make a report, they take it. If it is right, they return your money or they refund your money to you. This is the case where you don't even know where to report when there's a wrongful deduction. Just this Sunday, I paid a transaction of 76. I paid someone with 76 with my Vodafone cash. That was the only transaction I did. Vodafone didn't charge me for any fee. E-Levy took me 2 cedis, 50 pesos. Now the threshold is 10 cedis. So where from that deduction or that tax of 2 cedis, 50 pesos?
Okay.
It is gone. Why am I going to report this?
Okay.
So there should be, you see, this E-Levy, no one that is against any tax to develop the country, because we all need development in the country so that we can also feel okay. Now that you are taking this money and you are not telling me what you are using it for, or where the appropriate institutions or contacts to contact when they take wrongful deductions from my account, there's nothing. So there should be structured that, when there's wrongful deduction, report here. When you're having issues with the report to this pro, there should be a committee or a platform where those people can assist. We are doing the transaction, we are having issues, and we want to make clarifications and things. These are things that should be done before this implementation of this E-Levy. So please, I want to contact or where we can report. You always say report to them whenever there is wrongful deduction. Where?
Okay,
so
Emmanuel, well noted. Well noted. Thank you very much. So Nana Poku, here's his concern. So he wasn't charged for the service by Vodafone, but the E-Levy was deducted on 70 cedis. I'm sure he's assuming because it is not a Vodafone direct deduction and it's the E-Levy, he shouldn't call Vodafone to make the complaint. Right.
So with regards to deductions, in this case, he mentioned that he was deducted even out sending 70 cedis. He was not expecting to be deducted. However, the communication is that if you exhaust 100 cedis in a day, regardless of the next amount that you send, even if it's below 100, you will be charged for that transfer.
Well, if I heard him right, that was the first transaction he did on that day, if I heard him right. So he wasn't expecting to.
I believe that was what he was suggesting.
But I think the substantive question is, in this particular case, who do I call? Because I wasn't charged for the service by Vodafone. They do the service charge and the E-Levy. So it's the E-Levy that was, deducted. So who does he call in this case?
So in this case, you'd have to call Vodafone, because Vodafone is the one that is where you initiated the transaction from.
Okay.
So the GRA has mandated all charging entities to remit wrongfully deductions.
Okay.
So as soon as you are charged, when you are able to ascertain that this is a wrongful charge, you call the network that you
and you call them on the regular toll-free numbers. Okay. So whatever. So let's just make this clear that for those of you who are confused, you need to call the service provider on which platform you initiated the transaction. So that's the key word, where you initiated the transaction. And then you need to call them on their regular toll-free numbers. There's no special number.
Right.
Just call to make your complaint. Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap the conversation, Wilfred, Adai sends this. It goes back to our 20K bid, but he introduces something. He says, so he says the threshold is 20K. That means if I issue a clearing check to another with an amount more than 20K, I'll be charged?
Oh, no. Electronic clearing of checks are exempt. So when you make a transfer of, say, 50,000 cedis from my bank account to you, even though I'm using an app, if it's through what we call the ACH means of transfer, which is not instant, you won't be charged.
Okay. All right, Bernice, it's been insightful, hasn't it?
Very educative, but it appears people still have a lot of questions. I'll just advise that if you join the program midway, you can just scroll back because some of the questions we are getting have been answered already. I'm sure a lot of people joined in late, like this particular one saying that he sent money from Vodafone to MTN, but he was charged. You know, we've been told that if you own those two accounts, it's refundable. You should call the service provider on whose platform you initiated the transaction. So please, I'll just advise and share the link as many times as you can on different platforms because we all need the education to get better. And I think Benjamin, one important point to note has to do with the current approach we're using and the one that will kickstart in July, because then people need to understand. And so you still have issues with is my account, but they're still deducting because we haven't been linked properly. I mean, to put it in simple terms. So in July, that will happen. So for now, you may just have to deal with the trouble of having to call your service provider to make refunds and all that. All right, so I guess to wrap, Nana Puku, thank you for coming. He's a member of the E-Levy Technical Committee, but it behoves you, your institution, it behoves us as media in whatever capacity we can to do more education because it is clear there's a whole lot more, even for us as media people, we need to get abreast of in order to also impact the Ghanaian citizenry. But thank you so much, Nana Puku, for coming. But just stay. Coming up next, we have another conversation. Exactly.
Right before the break?
Yes, right before the break. Yeah, so we will be engaging the Food and Drugs Authority, and it's all about you, the consumer. We saw a release yesterday about one particular instant noodle brand. The FDA is raising concerns because it has received information about the existence of some pesticides and other things from other markets. So we'll be talking about that because you need to stay safe and know what you must put in your body. So just stay with us. We'll be back shortly.